Howdy, howdy, howdy. Today is July 29th, 2016, and I have an episode for you. So, today, we're going to dig up these lovely potatoes. Also, I've had a critter come in and decide that he wanted to eat all my brassicas. That would be my lovely little groundhog, which I am trying to deal with. So, what I'm going to do today, I'm going to dig up the potatoes, and I think I'm going to just rip out the brassicas here, because all of them are just devoured on. I will probably end up leaving the broccoli that's going to seed, seeing if I can get some seed from this guy as a little test experiment kind of thing. Alrighty. Alright, we're in the back little square jammer of the garden here. This is where I planted my potatoes. They've been in the ground since March, so it's been quite a few months since they've been put in. As you can see, they're dying back. There's some new growth on here, but I just wanted to clear out this area just so this way I can get it ready for a fall crop. I don't know exactly what I'm going to put in here. Maybe some beans. Alright, the kind of potatoes that I planted here, there are some purple potatoes. Like one row in the front area here. That hopefully we'll get maybe a little bit of, because they didn't really sprout too well. And the rest are just white potatoes. I don't know exactly the variety, because I believe they were just white northeastern potatoes that, you get from the store, and they just kind of got the eyes. So I planted them last year, and then I had a small harvest of those. I saved the smaller ones to plant, and that's what I'm gonna do. Well, that's what I did. Alright, a couple things you're going to want when digging up potatoes is this garden fork right here, and a bucket to stick your potatoes. Also, while I'm digging through, I'm going to collect some rocks and throw them onto my little rock path here, because ideally I don't usually step on my garden beds, but since I'm digging up the potatoes, I'm going to have to step on them to get to the potatoes. So, while I'm here, I'm going to loosen up the soil, fork it over a bit when I'm digging out the potatoes. Alright, I'll show you how to do that now. So how I harvest potatoes is I just kind of start from one corner and work my way over. So I'll show you how to do that. So right there you can see where the potato is. You can see the plant right there. You might be able to even just pull. No, okay. So you can see where it is. So what you want to do is, there's the plant, go back a little bit, stick the fork in, loosen the soil up a bit. Hopefully you didn't stab any potatoes. Alright, lift up the fork, and nothing on that one. Alright, so the soil's nice and loose. Lift up. Kind of pull out a little bit, and nothing on that one. Alright. So this is kind of harder than I thought it would be, doing it one-handed, not surprisingly. But you can also see all the worms in there. They like this one because this had a ton of horse manure and whatnot put in there last fall. Alright, I'm going to put the camera down and do some digging. Alright, here we go. It's dirty work. Alright, so I just dug up this section here. Got a small amount of decent sized potatoes, some small ones, that's pretty good. And I found my purple potatoes, which didn't really do anything. I mean, there's some roots on those. So actually what I'm probably going to end up doing is, when I'm done and ripped everything out, I'm going to probably replant the purple potatoes, since at least one of them has roots. See if I can get a second crop of potatoes along the back there, and then plant whatever in the front. and see what happens. Alright, I'm gonna keep digging and show you what's going on with that. So these are the purple potatoes that did not decide to grow. I mean, you can see the one right back here. I'm going to replant that and probably a couple other ones in the very back and just set it and see what happens come the fall. I'll keep you updated on that and maybe I'll get some more purple potatoes. Alright, so I'm about halfway done here, give or take. Basically the easiest way that I find to dig them is take your fork, flip the soil, kind of push it back to where you were, and then just kind of dig through, flip over the soil with the shovel, and then go dig with your hands to try to find any of the potatoes. So, I think I might get about a bucket here. Who knows? Alright. Alright, so got this bucket full. It's about 9 pounds or so. I just weighed it. And that back spot there, that's all dug up. So, for a crop, that's pretty easy to do. You just kind of pop it in there. You do like some mulching like I did. I just threw some like bags of fall leaves on top as I held it up a bit with some more soil. And yeah, so a couple months, 9 pounds worth of potatoes. I know that doesn't seem like a lot because it really isn't, because you know you can go to the store and spend a couple bucks and you know get just as much. But there's just something special about homegrown potatoes. Alright, and that's the haul here of the potatoes. So these are, I believe, Eastern White. Up here, I believe, might actually be Russets. I'm not exactly certain. It's just obviously a different variety. And I got like a handful of the purple potatoes. So I think that's pretty cool. Over here, some potatoes that I stabbed, so I'll clean these up and kind of eat them later on. Alright, here's a tip on how to dry and store your potatoes. So, unless you're going to eat all your potatoes at one time, it's best to dry them out a bit. And you don't want to leave them in direct sunlight, because otherwise they'll turn green, and green potatoes are not good for you. There's something in them that makes them a bit poisonous when they're green, so, you know, don't eat green potatoes. So, what you're just going to do, take an old sheet, towel, something you have. I have this old sheet here. And you're going to cover them so they're not in direct sunlight. Skin on them is pretty soft. So you have to go through and look at them. Like if you look at this one here, the skin is kind of already rubbing off on this one. So this is one that you wouldn't want to store. This one you want to use sooner rather than later. So I'll stick that guy with the other potatoes to be used. So just kind of sort through your potatoes. See if there's any damaged ones. What I like to do is take these smaller ones. You can use them for like barbecue kind of things, like new potatoes. Or you can just save them like for seed potatoes, which is generally what I do. Something like, you know, ping pong ball size, I find store well over the winter. Voila! Like magic, the potatoes are magically disappeared. Or under the sheet, whichever. So yeah, basically you'll just leave them out until the dirt and stuff is dry on them. Give it like a day or two. I find this should be fine. And then I usually just put them back in the bucket and I throw a cloth or a towel, something like that, over it. So this way they're still out of the light. They don't, you know, start growing their eyes or anything like that. Alrighty. Alright, you can see in the front part of the garden, I didn't quite get to this yet. The Brussels sprouts, the broccoli have been just decimated by the groundhog. So I think I'm just gonna maybe try to save a couple of them, but I'm gonna clear out what I can. Kind of clean this up so the groundhog doesn't go, ooh, look, more delicious stuff for me to eat. Howdy, howdy, and I'm back. So, what I did was I took out the broccoli, since they looked like they were not going to come back. I kept the Brussels sprouts, because there are little tiny Brussels sprouts still growing. So, see if I get anything from that. I don't know, first year growing them. I had some tomatoes that I kind of just popped in here before. Now I put them in some cages, so this way they have a place of their own. And now all this back here needs to be planted with something else. I do have those purple potatoes, so I'm just gonna line them in the back here. I'll show you how to do that in just a second. What I just did was I took my garden rake and I just pulled back and made a small little trench. Basically all we're gonna do, take a potato, pop it in if it has any eyes, and hope for the best. So these guys here are the eyes of the potato, and they're supposed to basically make little shoots like this guy did. So that guy I'm going to plant carefully elsewhere. I'm going to take all the ones that still have the eyes, pop them in the back. If they grow, fantastic. If not, whatever, it's fine. So all I do is I actually just go into the trench, take it, eye side up, and just stick them in about, 8 inches to a foot apart, and you just kind of pop them in there. Normally I would put compost down, but I don't have any compost that's ready. See, that's another good one. So these two I'm going to plant carefully because they're already growing, and the rest I'll pop in and hope for the best. Alright, so that's all you got to do. About 8 inches, foot apart, depending on, how thickly you want them to grow. And then, yeah, so that's planting potatoes. Quick, easy. Alright, now that the potatoes are in, all you got to do is just push soil right back on top of them. And then, hopefully they'll sprout. It's always a good idea to actually mark where you plant them, but I'm not all that terribly worried because I know I'm going to throw it in the back there. So, 6 inches or so back, and there we go. So now I'm going to take these ones that are sprouting, and I think I'm actually going to just stick them up here because there's this nice little bald spot up here. Because back here, maybe I'll do some field peas or beans or something like that, because after potatoes are a pretty heavy feeder. So you want something that is not in the same family like the tomatoes and whatnot. Alrighty, there we go. Alright, so for this one, I figure all I'm going to need is a trowel, because these guys are already sprouted. Dig yourself a hole. About, knife to get it in the ground. So this way, they'll pop up. Just stick it in there. Hopefully you can see that. Bury it. And these guys will pop up. And yeah, we'll have some purple potatoes here. We'll do another one right back here. Make a hole. Stick that guy in. And on this one, has some of the greens already, so I'm just going to kind of bury it up to that point. And hopefully it will survive the shock that it just had being moved around. Alright, so that's how I plant my potatoes if they're already growing and I dig them up on accident. So, hopefully that was helpful and you enjoyed that. Alright,